And then I found the drugs. And I'm like, oh, hell no.
So, what kind of drugs are we talking?
I'm not someone who's ever done drugs. I don't even smoke pot. So, like, I don't really know what kind of... But the cops told me afterwards it was meth and crack.
Oh. They were
nasty shit.
Breaking Bad.
I guess. Well, they thought they were. I broke down. So I'm thinking, this is my house. No, hell no, this isn't going to happen here.
Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Micah and Steve.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to another exciting episode of Live, Let, Thrive. I have a special guest with me today, and her name is LJ Fitzgerald. Hello, LJ.
Howdy.
Well, howdy. Yeah.
It is Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona, they say howdy too. So does, Texas. That's how we do it.
A lot of people from around the world think that we still ride horses and wear boots.
I do. Does everybody not? What's going on?
It's too hot for boots out here.
Yeah, it's too hot for planes to fly out there, apparently.
Yep.
So, I am interviewing LJ today, and it's this is episode 62 of Live, Let, Thrive. Micah can't be joining us today, but he'll be back on the next episode, I believe. He's been busy hustling. And so, so we got... I'll go ahead and say I posted earlier today on Facebook Airbnb Professional Hosts Facebook page. I always drop their name on there. They must they owe me some money. But anyways, I put out there, anybody want to hop on the show? I had some free some slots, empty slots today. And so LJ reached out and she said she had a fascinating Airbnb story. And let's start it off jumping right into that. Why not?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So what happened?
So you just want to know about the story, huh?
Well, see, we don't have any rules here, and I could introduce you, and who are you, how'd you start your journey, all that stuff. Or we can jump into this fascinating story, and then I will backtrack to that. How about that?
Okay, you ask questions and jump in when needed. You just tell me.
Okay.
So I had been doing this for about 9 months. And it was beautiful in Phoenix. It was March. It was gorgeous. I was at the house cleaning after somebody had left. And I had some people last minute book for one night. And I'm okay with that. But they were not people who could instant book. So they wanted to know, if it was available for the one night. And they weren't very communicative. And I was still pretty new at this. So I went ahead and booked them. They showed up at 1 o'clock, which is about 2 hours earlier than check-in time. And they were sitting out front, and I thought, I am not ready for this. The house isn't ready. Check-in is 3 o'clock. What are you doing here? I didn't answer their text. I thought maybe if I ignore them, they'll go away. Well, they didn't. At first they did, because apparently they were there at like noon, and nobody was there. So they left and came back. And so while I was cleaning, they were texting me, and I said, check-in is at 3 o'clock. Come back then. And I think they ran to the store and came back, and they were sitting out front in the car, and it was still way before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Mm. And I was just trying to get stuff done, because, as a super host, I want to make sure that people appreciate the cleanliness of my home. Yeah. And that is a part of it.
Right.
So I didn't want to let them in, and I wasn't ready, and it was nice out, so I wasn't worried about them. I mean, it wasn't Phoenix in July. This is Phoenix in March. It was gorgeous outside. Mm-hmm. In fact, the front door was open, and the screen was there, and the back door was open, because that way I get a nice breeze going through. Yeah. So it was just really nice. So eventually, they wouldn't stop texting, so I said, fine. You can go to the backyard. She was saying, I have this baby shower I have to go to. And I was like, well, you're a good planner. So she kept texting that she had to go, and her boyfriend and the dogs needed to come inside. And I said, they can go to the backyard, but I'm not done cleaning, and check-in isn't till 3.
Right.
So they came in, and she was apparently, I don't know what kind of baby shower she was going to, but it must have been for some kind of, group of hoes, because spandex was a requirement. And it was like this short skirt and midriff, and honey, I got a better body, and I'm 55. And she should not have been wearing that shit. So I watched her leave, and she went out to the car, and there was this box, I guess, of their stuff in the car. And so he was out back with the dogs, and that's the other thing. He was a smoker, so I was like, oh, well, hell. And so he was out back with the dogs. So she picks up the box, and this is me, like, I'm back and forth. I'm vacuuming, I'm changing beds, I'm cleaning the bathroom and the kitchen, and, I'm just running all over the house. So I see she brings the box up to the porch and sets it down. So there's this box just sitting there now on my front porch, and I'm thinking, you idiot, you couldn't even bring it in? So after about 30 minutes, I decided I should bring it in. So I pick it up, and the flaps are open. This is a pretty good sized box. We're talking like 2 by 2.
Yeah.
Not real deep, maybe a foot deep. So I bring it in. The flaps are open. I set it on a chair. I keep cleaning. Then I get curious because they're really weird. He couldn't look me in the eye, never introduced himself. There were so many, like, signs.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, this is my house. And I look in the box. Just a cursory glance, like over my shoulder, like, what's in there? And sure enough, I see, like, drug paraphernalia.
Oh, no.
And I also see, like identification. And I thought, okay, there's IDs in here. Great. Why are they in a box? She drove off. Where's hers? So I start digging through this box, like, seriously digging through it now. And there's, like, 5 IDs for each of them with different names on them. And, man, nothing pisses me off more than people stealing from other people. And my identification, my purse was stolen like a year prior to this, like 1 year, like almost exactly. So I was livid.
Mm.
And then I found the drugs. Oh, hell no.
Mm.
So,
what kind of drugs are we talking?
I'm not someone who's ever done drugs. I don't even smoke pot. So, like, I don't really know what kind of... But the cops told me afterwards it was meth and crack.
Oh. They were
nasty shit.
Breaking Bad.
I guess. Well, they thought they were. I broke them. So I'm thinking, this is my house. No, hell no, this isn't going to happen here. So I grab my purse and my water bottle because, in Phoenix, we don't go anywhere without one. Mm-hmm. So I walk across the street, and I have gay neighbors over there. So I'm like rapping on doors. Dudes, I need safe haven. So they are so sweet. So they let me in, and I called Crime Stop. And the folks at Crime Stop are really cool, and they were very quick to respond. And there was some kind of accident somewhere nearby that the cops had been at. And so they apparently they had taken care of it. So they were at my place within like 10 minutes. Hmm. So dude's in the back smoking on his laptop and his phone, thinking everything's fine and making contacts and giving everybody the address for my home of where they can pick their drugs up that night.
Jeez.
That's what he was doing in my backyard. So, and I didn't know that. I just thought he had a box full of drugs and fake IDs. So the cops show up, 3 cop cars, 6 cops, and they come over to the house where I'm at, visiting my neighbor, and they were like, so, and they've got body cams and everything, so they can record everything.
Yeah.
So they're like, so, ma'am, tell us what's going on. So I give him the story, and I told him what I found, and he said, so you brought the box in the house? I said, yeah, it was sitting on the porch. And he's like, okay, so you saw her put it there? I'm like, yeah, she took it out of the car before she went to her baby shower. And so then they were like, okay, and we were just kind of like standing out front when I first talked to him, and so they went in to the backyard, and I guess he came out. He started walking out to the front. He's like wondering what's going on. He heard voices or whatever. So he left his laptop and his phone back there, and he comes out to the front, and he's on the porch, and the cops are like, "Do you have your ID?" And he's like, "I don't have to show you my ID." And he does the whole song and dance that every single person who's ever been in the middle of breaking the law has ever done. "Yeah, I don't have to give you nothing. My daddy's a lawyer." So he started that whole stupid story, and I just kind of walked away. I didn't want to hear anything he had to say. I couldn't care less. And the cops interviewed him. It took an hour, and he was belligerent. He was a jerk. He was ignorant. Really not cool. So it wasn't long. It was like an hour, and then they figured out who he was. And I'm not sure, because I wasn't like standing right next to him. I didn't want to get involved.
So you didn't want him to see your face?
No, because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
So they eventually figured out who he was. He kept insisting that his dad was an attorney and that he didn't have to give them his name and all this stuff. And they finally took him away. They put him in the car and took him away because they did get his name, and he had prior convictions, and he was wanted.
Right.
Lucky me. So they took his little butt away, and she was still gone. This is probably, it's not even 3 o'clock yet. I mean, he was supposed to check in. They weren't supposed to check in till 3, and this is before 3 even.
Wow.
Yeah. And so now the 2 dogs are in the back, right? So it's this puppy and another dog, and he was telling me that they just got them at they just rescued them or something. They're trying to make me feel better about them or whatever. I don't know. Since they didn't even introduce themselves to me,
yeah.
They were already way too far gone. So there's me and like 4 or 5 cops, and cops are kind of if you're a dog and you've ever been a stray dog, you're not real comfortable with cops. Because they're the ones who picked your butt off of the street and took you to the shelter.
Right,
or, some place that you could die in. So it was this whole thing of us chasing dogs in the backyard was hilarious. So these 2 dogs, these cops I'm like, "You guys are way too big and you're too intimidating. You got to back off. I'll grab the dogs." So I sit down in the dirt and I'm like, "Give her a puppy." And so I eventually caught both of them and gave them to the cops, and they just put them right in the car. They didn't even wait for like the special dog car. They just put them right in one of those cars. And those poor puppies. So I was like, "Can I just keep the dogs and find somebody to take them?" And they're like, "No, because it's their property." I'm like, "Damn, okay."
Damn.
So, yeah, I was kind of bummed. So they had to go back to the shelter or wherever, they spend their time. So they were gone. So they're both gone. She doesn't know anything about this, and I never gave either of them a key. So she didn't have a key. So I'm in touch with my neighbor, and I finally leave the house after, just laughing. So I finish cleaning up, get it ready, because now I've rented it for the night, made some money. I don't know whose money it was. And I feel sorry for the credit card of the person that they stole it from to book it. But I think I still got paid. So then around, I guess, 11:30, my neighbor across the street texts me, "She's back." So we both, I know, but she can't get in, remember? She doesn't have a key.
Right.
So she pulls up in this $80,000 like Mercedes.
Oh.
Some big white car, and pulls it all the way up into the driveway and shimmies out of her hoe clothes and changes into a pair of jeans and a T-shirt.
In the driveway?
All, like, in the car.
Oh.
Yeah, in the car, because my neighbor's watching, right?
Yeah.
So, and he's texting me the whole time that this is what she's doing. And so she's texting me. So they call they call Crime Stop, and I call Crime Stop. And so we're both on the phone with them. We give them the ID number for the event, the earlier event. And so there's two women at the call center who apparently weren't very far apart. Their desks were kind of close by each other, and they both knew that they were each on the phone with somebody for the same event. And it was like so funny, but really tragic at the same time that people do this to other people. So my neighbor's like, oh, she changed her clothes, and she's in the car, and now she's looking in all the windows, and so she's texting me, and I left some lights on, so she's texting me, LJ, I can't get in, and I said, oh, that's right, you don't have a key. So I said, well, maybe your boyfriend is out walking the dogs, and I said, I have leashes inside, so maybe he just borrowed those and took the dogs for a walk. And, you know, I'm lying my butt off, right? And I'm good at that. I'm ad-libbing. So she's like, oh, maybe, but I guess I'll just keep waiting for him. And she's like, I don't hear the dogs. You know, I'm like, well, maybe you took him for a walk. I'm trying to invent every excuse, whatever I can do, right, to wait for the cops to get there.
Yeah.
And so my neighbors contacted it, and I'm on the phone with them, but I'm texting my neighbor. He's like, she's looking in all the windows. So the cops pull up literally like in 5 minutes.
Wow.
They don't ask her a question. They just throw her down on the ground, cuff her, and throw her in the back of the car. She's gone.
Oh, my gosh.
They got her. Because she had all these previous warrants, too.
Mm.
So at like 4:30 in the morning, they came and towed the car away. So I was done and dusted with this whole thing. But then, like, one of the officers, like somebody who investigates all these things, so he called me to find out, like, for me to give him the whole story. And he told me that they had prior warrants for their arrest, that they had done other stuff, and that they were going to be in jail for quite a while.
Wow.
And I haven't heard back. That was 9 months ago. I haven't heard anything. And they said they would contact me if they were going to let them out. So they're still in jail. Yeah. Crazy.
That's a crazy story. That's nuts.
Isn't that weird? So the knowledge I've gained just from that, and be able to share that with other people. So the thing I learned and I was able to share is that locals looking to stay are probably the worst renters.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's either something like this, like they're doing drugs, especially like the one-nighters. They're selling drugs from that home. Oh, and then my neighbor was telling me that like at 1 o'clock in the morning, somebody pulled up and was like knocking on the door looking for their drugs.
Oh,
and I guess that happened a couple times because, you know, he contacted a few people saying, this is where we are tonight.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's scary a little bit, too.
It's very scary because, well, they probably wouldn't do it if you lived on property. But imagine what your neighbors think after all that's over. They're going to get pissy about you having an Airbnb.
Yeah, big time.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you have any control over that.
But you did provide entertainment for the night, though.
I just provided what?
You did provide some entertainment for the night.
Oh, boy, did I. Yeah. That was very interesting. But the thing is, so these people, so I've learned a lot about it since then, that this is happening locally. So no matter where you live, if you have an Airbnb, what they're doing is renting for the night and selling drugs all night long out of your place. They probably don't have a party or trash it because they don't want anybody, like, really noticing. But they're still too stupid to hide the evidence. Or, you know, like, you got to catch them. The only way to catch them is to be there. So I have a lockbox for guests that I can't meet at the house, which is pretty rare because after that, I try to meet everybody. And I want to be able to look them in the eye. And I'm an Air Force brat. I've moved around my whole life. I can read people pretty well and pretty quickly. So I don't have a problem meeting everybody who stays in my house because you can kind of tell the hinky ones. You can tell what's coming.
Right, right.
So far, I've been pretty lucky.
It's that's a cool story. Not a crazy story, but I thought about one time. Well, because I used to live next to a cop. His name was Buddy, and he was our buddy. He was a great dude. He helped watch out the house for us when we weren't there, whatever. And so I actually thought of putting that. I started Airbnb in actually last October, and I thought about putting it in the listing, and just kind of like a subtle reminder. Oh, by the way, it's a safe neighborhood, and we even live next door to a cop. So I just thought throwing it in there to maybe deter, some of the bad people from wanting to rent my spot. But he happened to move out.
I think I did put that in there because the neighbor next door retired. What is he? He was a investigator for Scottsdale Police.
Oh wow!
So yeah, there's a cop living next door.
And you put it in the listing. They still rented your place.
I think I did put it in there, and I put neighbors all know each other and watch over my home.
Ah.
Yeah, because I lived there for like 8 years, so people know me, and I know the neighbors who were all there.
Right, right.
And now I know more of them.
That's cool. But I thought about putting that on my listing, but he happened to move like the month that I was setting up the house, that we used to live at, and I was thinking, well, I could still put it, kind of like a white lie kind of thing, but then watch something happen and they're pounding on my next door neighbor's house. And they need a cop, and I'm not a cop, dude. What do you want from me? I didn't want.
Well, mine was retired, so still, Honestly, I think the only way to deter this kind of stuff from happening, other than being very, communicative when they send you an inquiry, you should always just. These are not people who have an approval. Like, they aren't going to be instant bookers because they change their names all the time. They're booking under it's not really their name. And you can't fault Airbnb for that because all they do is get a picture of your ID and a picture of you. If it's a fake ID, they're not going to know that. So I never blamed Airbnb. I was pissed, but I never blamed Airbnb because it's not a perfect setup. Think about it. I sent my ID in. They don't really know if it's me.
Right, right.
Huh. So you can only go so far.
Yeah.
So now I just make sure I meet everybody at the house.
Well, that's good. Do you live far away?
The only way to stay safe. It's 5 miles.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
No, it's easy to get there.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I don't meet any of my guests, and hopefully they're not all doing drugs at my house.
You'll find out.
I guess I'll find out. But I got a nosy elderly lady, and she's a cool lady. We knew her, and she knew the family, but she's one of the ones that watches the whole street, knows all the dirt and everything. And I thought I might have an issue with her when we starting an Airbnb there, but she's been great. She's been keep an eye on the house. She'll let me know what kind of guests come in and how many people were there, and yeah, she lets me know. She doesn't seem to have a problem with it either.
That's good. Yeah, my neighbors have been very helpful. The only thing I worry about, because I take dogs at my place, it's got concrete floors and a huge fenced-in backyard, and so I get a lot of dogs. In fact, the people that are there right now have 3 dogs, and one of them is the size of a Shetland pony. It's huge.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a big dog. And but I'm very popular because I have this wonderfully safe, shaded backyard for all the pets. So for Thanksgiving, I actually had people check in with a potbelly pig. It wasn't for Thanksgiving, it was their pet.
That would have been the story.
Thankfully.
I slaughtered a pig
and
in my
that thing
Airbnb.
was 100. Yeah, I have pictures. Actually, I have a pet wall, and I have little paw prints, like different colored paw prints all over the entryway, painted on the wall, and I have prints like 2 prints, one of a cat and one of a dog. It's my pet wall, and so people whose pets have stayed, I write their name on one of the paw prints, the pets' names. So after Pudgeon's the pig stayed, I had to put a paw print on the wall, and I thought, I don't think I really want to do the pig print, so I did a snout, and I put Pudgeon's on my wall.
Shout out to Pudgeon's.
I did not put the 2 jail dogs on my wall. I never learned their names, and I'm pretty sure that they were fake names anyway. So they did not get a paw print.
They stole another dog's chip. So this is interesting because like most everybody we've interviewed on the show is just they don't allow pets 100%. And so, but you're going the other way with it. You're not only allowing, you're encouraging pets, and you're even like putting cool things on the wall. And I thought about that. I was like, what if I made my place pet friendly? I mean, I'd probably make a whole bunch of money doing that.
It is it's triple degree weather in Phoenix, and you can bet that there are a lot of people whose homes are not booked right now. And you know whose home is? Mine. All summer long. I started in June of last year. I'm still in business, and I haven't had a month, I think like it was some weird month, like November or something, where I had 10 days without guests.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm booked all the time. I'm right off all the highways. I'm 5 miles north of the airport. I've got a great location, but I'm in the barrio. So one of the things, like I also want to decorate my place with a theme kind of thing. I'm an actress. I'm all about doing fun stuff and being out there. And I've stayed in B&Bs, and most of them are like, well, this was my mom's furniture, it's all like 90s and 80s furniture. I'm like, this is just boring. Or
yeah.
Who would want to live in this? So I kind of went a little bit crazy, and mine is all Day of the Dead and peace, love, and hippie. So it's very colorful.
Awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah. So my whole place is decorated with Day of the Dead skulls.
Wow, that's cool.
It is very cool. It's part of the Mexican heritage. It's their culture, and I celebrate life. So for me, I just wanted to celebrate the neighborhood it's in. It's in the barrio. I wanted to kind of continue that theme. So it's really colorful. It looks great.
That's pretty neat.
And people appreciate it. And frankly, if they don't need to rent my place.
Now you have concrete floors. That's great for if you're going to allow pets. But I mean, aren't you worried about like your furniture and stuff? What do you do to prevent damage?
Well, I've learned, and nothing's gotten damaged. I've had maybe a bedspread or a blanket that might have gotten torn because of dogs' paws and that kind of thing. So I learned early on that if they've got dogs, that I put the crappy one on there, but I do it when they're there and I'm telling them, I don't care if your dog gets up on the bed, as long as it's not on the sheets, scratching them up and tearing them, because then you're paying for them. I said, but I'm going to throw this bedspread on here. I'm going to take the nice one off. I'm going to put this one on, because I know your dog's getting up here. I'm not going to pretend I don't know that. I'm not stupid.
Right.
So I just changed the bedding out while they're there and tell them, unless you brought something with you and you can assure me that your dog is going to stay on the floor, this is what we're doing. And I do the same thing because my couch is leather and it's a fold out for people to be able to stay in and sleep on. So I have to keep that one, as best as I can for as long as I can, because those things ain't cheap. So I don't want the leather seats getting messed up. So I cover that too when people who have dogs stay. And that's just the benefit of being able to stay in my home is with a dog is I'm going to make sure that nothing gets ruined, and it's your job to make sure that too when you stay. And I just tell people I'm open about it.
No, I mean, they appreciate that they have somewhere to go with their dogs. I mean, that's just, it's so expensive to board the darn things.
Yeah, and there are places nearby. I had some folks who came out for baseball season, and I made a killing during baseball season, by the way. And they came out and they brought their dogs, and while they were at the baseball game, they took their dogs to doggy daycare. So those were some spoiled pups.
And they didn't leave them in the house. I mean, what's up with...
No. They were going to be gone at baseball games for 2-3 hours, and they brought the dogs to doggy daycare and paid for that.
Well, that's crazy.
I know.
At least they didn't poop and pee all over your house. That's good.
Well, and there's a doggy door, too, so they can get out if they're small enough. I don't have a big one in there because I don't want anybody being able to break in.
Yeah.
So I've done what I can to make some money, and I've done pretty well. And my home is like 80 years old. So in a couple of weeks, I'm having all new windows that face the south where all the sun comes in. I'm putting new windows in so that they're better insulated because some of those rooms get really hot because of Phoenix weather. Mm-hmm. So as I make a little money, I just add more and more stuff to my house to make it even better.
That's great. Putting it back into the business.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
If you want to stay in business.
That's definitely true. And
that's my plan.
All right.
You know, Phoenix is upside down because the summers are so hot, and my AC bill, my electric bills are like $300 a month.
Wow.
Because people are coming from someplace else usually, right? So they can't handle this heat. So they crank it down. I went in there the other day. It was cranked down to 62 degrees. Mm. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Would you have the door open too? I mean, you needed fresh air and the air conditioning because it's so hot. Some people have done that, and you know, you can only do what you can do. I'm not going to monitor them, and I'm not going to put in any cameras. So I can't charge as much in the summer, but my electric bills are 3 times what they are in the fall and the winter.
Wow, that's crazy.
Kind of a bummer.
I used to think, back when I had my first house, I was contemplating putting solar panels on it, and the reason, and because we were going to live there still, but then I was like, then we started thinking about, okay, I don't know, we might move out and rent it out as a long-term rental. And so it didn't make sense anymore. I'm going to put solar panels and save a lot of money for my renters, But as the Airbnb model goes, it might be a great idea, put some solar panels and there's one less electric bill you have to pay, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm in Arizona, and you would think that solar would be what everybody's doing here, but the electric companies here have got a lock on it, and we're also a red state, so nothing is happening with solar here.
That's terrible. You got all that sun.
360 days a year of clear, perfect skies like right now, not a cloud. And we can't get solar unless we pay out the nose for it.
What a waste.
It's ridiculous.
What a waste.
It is. One of these days, it'll get better, and I will have solar on both of my homes just because it'll cost me less money.
Right, yeah. Utilize the freeness of the sun.
Yeah, yep. The windows are going to be a big help with cutting out some of the air conditioning bills for the summer. That'll be a nice change because they're all like single-pane 80-year-old windows right now. Mm. So that'll be helpful.
Big time.
And I have a big shaded backyard that's just gorgeous, a pine tree. Oh, and I have a lot of fruit trees, too. So there's like 2-3 months out of the year during fruit season when people can pick fruit and eat it just straight off the tree, which is pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
What was I going to say?
Where are you at?
I'm in Arlington, Texas.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, right close to Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right down the road. What was I going to ask? Oh, real quick, because you do allow pets. You're one of the few that I've known to allow pets. Now, what is your cleaning fee if they do have pets? Or is there different types of cleaning fees or same one?
I charge $6 per day per pet extra just to let them stay. And
okay.
my cleaning fee doesn't change.
That's pretty smart.
And well, I figured, they're a family member, so I'm like, just, put them in his family. Just tell me how many people, how many of your family you're bringing with you, whether they're 2-legged or 4. They're all monsters as far as I'm concerned if they're not adults. So I might as well charge for them. I find that children are worse than pets. I'd almost say no children and bring on the dogs. Seriously, I've never had a pet who did damage the damage that a child can do. I'd rather have pets than kids. Hell, the pig was a better guess.
Now, what is your cleaning fee, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
It's $26.
That's it.
Well, yeah, my house is only 900 square feet, and it's solid concrete. I mean, you really can't screw it up too much.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's pretty cool. I've never seen one that low before.
Yeah, the only expensive part for me is that I have to do all the lawn mowing, and I take care of the irrigation when it's time to open that up. And I'm the one taking care of the yard, and it's a pretty good sized yard, and there's a lot of trees. So, and when I'm out there and it's triple-digit weather, and I'm the one out there cutting the grass and raking up everything, I'm like, yeah, this needs to be more expensive. And that should be part of the cleaning fee, is that I've got to take care of the yard. But every once in a while, when it gets a little overgrown, because, the irrigation works wonders. So my place gets irrigated about every 2 weeks. And that means that the dogs can't go out back. And that is a part of the warning I give them, and I try to, if somebody's going to be staying during irrigation, I'll say, I know it's going to be about that time, but I won't know until 48 hours before it happens that that's when it is.
Right.
So my lot gets like 5 inches of water. The whole lot is covered in 5 inches of water for an hour or two, and then it just soaks right in, and that's why the trees are all green and I can grow fruit here.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah, which is, people from another place are like, what the heck is going on back there when the water starts coming in? It's very unusual for people who don't know what it is.
That's crazy. All right, so we have
But it
with
really
us,
keeps everything green.
Nice. We have with us LJ Fitzgerald. I guess now we can start with the the boring general questions. This is cool. We're doing it backwards. Okay. So we're at in.
So you know my method then.
Exactly. Speaking of upside down, the upside down. What where are you located? You're in what, Phoenix, Arizona, or where?
Yeah, I'm just north of the airport, 5 miles.
Oh, awesome. My buddy.
Yeah, there's actually like 4 interchanges too for the highways. So when I get so many people on their way to California, or leaving California and on their way home.
Wow, that's cool. I work for American Airlines. So yeah, sometimes when we fly out west, we have to go through Phoenix and then, wherever else.
Dude, you got to come visit.
Yes, I will be. Yeah, we'll go visit. That'll be awesome.
Bring your dog.
We'll bring our little doggy. It's a little chihuahua. So.
I also have like a gate where I can park like a big car and like and anything huge, like a bus in the back. So I've had bands that are just playing one night come through. And because I do one-nighters, I'm a girl for a one-night stand. Always have been. So the gate can be locked, and they can just park the big bus back there without having to unload everything. And then I can sleep 7 in my 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 900 square foot home. So they'll park in the back and then just sleep all over and sleep late the next morning and take off, and we're all good. It's really cool because I can lock it up and keep it secure, and nobody can get back there. It's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
I try to think of everything. It's hard, but, had no idea I had to worry about meth heads and selling drugs out of my home.
But you're like in the home of Breaking Bad. You should know this.
I do now. And because I spend so much time on Facebook with the hosting sites, I try to help people understand, like, some of the things they need to watch for.
That's good. Keep people informed.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people are very naive when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I'm kind of a little bit, well, I wouldn't say jealous, envious, because that was my original vision when I started. We're thinking of renting out our current Airbnb, after we moved, and I wanted to just put, because I'm an artist, musician, and I wanted to make it like artsy, musicianly, and like you're just kind of got a bohemian feel to it,
Yeah, and give it a theme, right?
yeah, and I called it Art House Hearst. And I do have art on the
Aw.
walls. I have some, from a couple buddies. I have a couple of my pieces too. But I want to go like 100% overboard, man. I want to put like badass murals or just cool paintings.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and just
Don't just put something up on the wall. Paint the whole wall.
yeah, that's what my concept. And I don't know. My wife's kind of slowing me down on that a little bit. But I thought it would be cool. I just wanted to go all out.
I
art.
think people are looking for a unique space to stay in.
Right.
Certainly people who do Airbnb are already wanting something unique. That's why they aren't staying in a cookie-cutter hotel room. They want what they want. And it's funny. I've had all kinds of, like a couple people with the reaction to how I decorated. Usually they're older. Like my mom. She's like, oh, people aren't going to want to stay there. I'm like, Mom, I'm booked all the time. And because I don't live here, I just get to stay in one night with all the skulls. It's not like I have real skulls in there. Come on, they're ceramic and they're painted and they're bright and they're colorful, and then there's peace signs and flowers, and it's just a really unique space. And I think that when people are looking for a place to stay in and they're just traveling through and they're typical Airbnb travelers, they like the uniqueness of my spot for sure.
That is cool. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you attract the artsy type people too, I would imagine.
Definitely. You need to go for it. You need to put up records
all
on
in.
the wall and just paint murals everywhere and go all music bad. It'd be awesome. You could paint like album covers on some of the walls.
That is cool. I'm doing it. I'm doing
I
it.
get
I'm
crazy
doing it.
ideas.
Yeah, it just turned into like a. I'll
And
say like
here's the thing. Try it. You know what? You can always go back and paint that wall white.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's what I thought was I'll try it, and if it doesn't work and I can't rent it, then I'll go back to painting it normal.
yeah, paint covers everything, right?
That's right.
And because my first house, we were renting it out long term, and we did. It was known as the art house, and we had parties and art shows, and my band would play there, and other bands would come play there. It was just like, it was a cool hangout, and I loved that vibe. And then I just starting my real estate journey. I jumped out of that house, just cleaned it all up, and made it a long-term rental, which I wish I would have just kept it going, the art house, And the second house we got, when, we moved out of that one, I turned it into a boring, kind of not boring. There's art on the walls, but it could be so much more. And I think in a way, and also, I mean, it's cool to like decorate and do whatever is inside my crazy head. But in doing that, it's more fun. Plus, it could actually be cheaper than trying to go the high-end Haverty's furniture crap, A lot of people are doing the high-end
but that's so
fancy
typical.
stuff.
And you can do that anywhere. You can find that. There's a dime a dozen. In
Right.
Phoenix, Scottsdale, they can always make that choice.
And it costs a whole
But
bunch
there's
to
very few that are eclectic and unique and fun.
have a spirit,
Yeah. And I think there are a lot of people who appreciate that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be busy. And I'm busy.
I'm doing it, LJ.
You go for it. The other thing I do, and how hot, what's the temperature over there today?
It only got to like 97.
That's not too bad.
With
So the other thing I'm doing, and I highly recommend this, in the summer, well, I do it all year round because people, they're coming here in December and it's like 80 degrees. They're like, what the hell? So I keep popsicles in the freezer.
Great idea.
Because it's triple digits, and by God, they really appreciate it.
So does everybody partake in the popsicles?
No, not everybody. Some people are like maybe fasting, and some people just don't want them. But I've had people that are like, "Oh my God, that is amazing! That's exactly what I need." I mean, I'm literally checking them in. They see them in the freezer, and they lit up, and I'm like, "You want one now, don't you?" And we're walking through the house, eating popsicles together, talking about like the backyard and where the water spigot is, and if I'm going to have irrigation, like just having a conversation, just learning about each other. It's really cool.
Wow, that is so
Popsicles
cool.
are the icebreaker in Phoenix.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So it makes it, because you get to kind of like live your artistic vision. It makes it more fun. Definitely, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And,
I can't decorate my house that way. My husband would never let me, so I'm doing it over there.
And how much does he participate in the Airbnb?
0. Nada. Nothing.
Oh, why is that?
Yeah, it's my baby.
Oh, you don't let him?
Not really.
Huh. Oh, you don't even
No,
let him
no reason.
mow the yard in 110 degree heat?
Well, we have our own house in which I could let him do that. So I figure I'm not going to torture him and make him go over there and do the other one too.
That's nice of you.
It's a good workout.
Yeah, you sweat it all out. My wife does the cleanings in mine, so she does the cleanings, turnovers, changes the code on the door lock. See, that's the thing I was going to ask earlier, because if you would have just been like a offhands remote lock kind of person, you would have never known those druggies are staying at your house, right?
Right.
And
But
so
it only took one person like that for me to figure out, I may have a lockbox, but I only need to use it during emergencies. In fact, that happened over the weekend. We were at the lake, and a storm came in, and we got blown into the storm with some rocks. We lost our engine. We were out there for hours. I had the bruises to prove it, and I couldn't make my check-in. And I'd never met these people, but she was very communicative, so I knew she wasn't, and they were passing through town. They weren't from here. So I knew that they were legit. So I just told her, gave her the code to the lockbox, and they were all good to go. I never even met them.
nice. And you always got a plan for stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and you have to. Yeah, I have the lockbox for emergencies, but the best way to keep my home healthy and happy and safe, and to ensure that my neighbors don't get pissed off, is to greet every single one of my guests. And I tell them, look, I'm just a badass old bitch who will take you out if I don't like you. So you better be nice to my house.
That is awesome. Oh, man. So
I'm over 50. I can say what I want.
Oh, yeah. You passed the limitation, the statute of limitations, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So do you plan on getting any
Statute of decades.
Statute of Decades? That sounds like a band name. I'm gonna make a band called that. Statute of Decades. It'll be a soft rock band. Let me see. How many? Do you want to get more properties? Are you cool with just the one, or how's it going?
Just the one. Yeah, it's a lot of work for one to set it all up and keep it going. And I'm on 4 different websites, so
And like at first, okay, you started it, whatever, you're learning. When did you start this, by the way?
A year ago in July.
Oh, perfect.
No, June actually.
June. Cool. And so you started it then. Is the house totally different from when you started? Does it look different? Did you do a bunch of different things to it?
I just keep adding art.
Okay.
And finding things that will make my guests more comfortable, and also make it they'll screw it up less. Like, instead of putting their DOP kit in the bathroom on the towel rod, which was taking the rod out of the wall, I found some shelving to put below that. So, like, little things to add to it so that they don't screw my house up. Things like that.
That's cool. And we've had a guest on the show before. He was telling us all his tips and stuff. And his big deal was you don't have to just try to keep accumulating to accumulate properties or whatever it is in life. You just perfect the ones that you have and then try to maximize the profit out of that one. And I think that's pretty cool because you don't have to have the whole bunch that are half-assed when you can have one badass one that's generating all the profit for you, right?
Yeah, and the way I look at it is they're paying my mortgage and giving me a little extra.
Sweet.
So I spend a little bit of time cleaning it. I mow it and take care of the yard and, prune the trees and pick the fruit and make sure that it stays updated. Because honestly, it's a little house. It's tiny. It's 900 square feet. And someday, maybe down the road, when I'm old and I can't handle the one I live in now, which is 2,000 square feet, I might want to downsize back to that house. So I want to take the best care I can of it because I might end up in that one in the end.
Ah, that's true. That's forward
and
thinking.
It will be paid off.
There you go.
Well, you got to, don't you? I mean, life's the way life is. And I'll have plenty of money that I can just take off, from selling this one, and then we can just go all over the place and visit the world and travel and just have that little house over there in the barrio. It probably won't even be the barrio anymore.
No, it'll be Hipsterville.
Oh, so the folks across the street are Hispanic, and they've lived there forever, and there's like 2 families or 3 families living there. It's a cute little house. And sometimes on the weekends, they have they put picnic tables out, like along the whole driveway into the backyard, and their family comes over, and there's a mariachi band once in a while over there on a Saturday night. It's so cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and I let people know on my listing that occasionally on a Saturday night, the mariachi band will be playing across the street, and you can hear them, and you should enjoy it because they shut down pretty early, like at 11 or 12, and they are never obnoxious, and they're very cool. So
that is
I let people know.
That's like one of the perks. To me, it's one of the perks, yeah. Sit out.
Well, it's a part of the actual barrio experience, right?
It has, the street has like its own flavor, its own vibe, and that's awesome.
Yeah. Yep, good neighbors.
And, well, you said you had a big backyard?
Yeah, it is. It's huge.
What about putting...
Considering.
What about putting something out there?
Like another...
Like a mother-in-law suite kind of thing, or that you could rent out? You ever thought about doing that?
No, because then you've got to worry about 2 different guests and the parking and all that crap. If I was going to do it, I would do it at my house, where I can do it separately, and I know I have plenty of parking.
Are you allowed to do that at your house?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. It's funny because like here in Arlington, I actually called the city and said, hey, I'm thinking about putting a mother-in-law suite out back. And they said, okay, you got to fill out these forms, this and that, and then you got to pay $1,000 to application fee and this and that. And I was like, okay, cool. So when would I find out if I got approved? I said, well, anywhere between 3 to 6 months, you'll find out if you're approved. And I was like, okay, and if I'm not approved, I get my money back? Like, no, that's just part of the fee. I was like, what? I gotta pay $1,000 to just submit and hope that they say yes. That's some mess right there.
I wonder if they I guess I have to check into the laws before I do that here. But I have friends that got a container and put it in their backyard.
Wow, that's cool.
And they made a little container house out of it. It's adorable.
That is awesome.
But I'm just seriously so both of my houses are just 5 miles north of the airport. One on the east side and one on the west side. So it's a really quick drive from the airport to my house. So if somebody's just spending the night in Phoenix for business and then getting back on a plane the next day, my spot's awesome, both of them.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. And
maybe down the road they'll do that.
I was even thinking like putting because I have a big backyard too. And I was thinking about putting an RV out back. I wonder if that would work pretty good. I guess if I do it all cute and, pretty, I guess it would work.
Yeah, if you take it off the wheels and kind of maybe make it nicer. Those are going pretty well, but I think people expect to pay less for them. You know what I mean? Per night.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's in Malibu or something. As
opposed to like my friends who put in the pod and then totally did an artistic design inside, and it's gorgeous. Like, they can charge more for that than you could an RV.
That is true. And, of course, I mean, they probably spent a pretty penny on that, I would think.
No, they did it all themselves, because he's like a really good, I wouldn't say contractor, but he's really artistic.
Uh-huh.
So everything in that whole little place, it's got a little tiny sink. It's got, it's got a bathroom. I wouldn't call it a big bathroom, but you can shower in there. The sink is literally like the size of a piece of Tupperware. It's just like not a normal sink, a little tiny sink. But all you really do in a sink is brush your teeth or run water for a washcloth or something. So you don't need much.
Right.
But it's so much cuter than like a trailer.
Right. Unless it's an Airstream. Now those are freaking cool.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. But they're also expensive. Have you ever looked at the price on one of those?
They're insane.
It's like buying a friggin' house. You could buy my house for less. I could buy a house in the barrio for less than you can buy an Airstream these days.
You got to go back and buy an old beat up one and fix it up, I guess. It's the only way you can afford one of those things. But they look so cool.
It's triple degrees here. You can't really just like expect it to work well, and I don't know. That's too scary for me.
Right. That is cool. You're a great storyteller. Now, how far? Because of course, I mean, did you watch the show Breaking Bad?
No.
You never seen Breaking Bad?
I'm an avid reader. I'm a big time reader.
Okay.
And I read crime novels. So
well, that's right up your alley. You just got to watch.
Yeah, it's totally up my alley.
But it's the best show. One of my favorite series is, and I don't watch a lot of TV, but I got into that one. I was like, this is awesome. And that's out in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. If you did, do you ever thought of doing like experiences?
Oh, actually, I applied. So, okay, are you affiliated with Airbnb in any way?
No.
Oh, so those morons, what they did? Check it.
We call them out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. So it's 115 in Phoenix in the summer. So back in, I want to say it was November, I asked them about doing experiences because I'm an avid hiker. And I'm not going to do a 3-hour climb your ass up this huge hill kind of thing. That's not who I am. I'm 50. I'm over 50. I'm going to take you out for an hour. I'm going to show you what a cactus looks like, tell you about my favorite lizard, and then we're going to go home. I'm not going to spend 3 hours out there. I'm going to tell you about my desert. I'm going to introduce you to what it's like out there, tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about it, and then we're going to be on our way. I'm not going to stay out there all day with you. So I just want to do these hour-long hikes because I'm already doing them. I might as well get paid out there while I'm doing it, right?
Right.
Stupid Airbnb, they don't get back to me for months. So I'm like, it's December, January is whenever all the people start to visit, and it's nice and cool out, and they're going to be hiking. Are you guys going to get back to me and give me a yes or no or what? Never got back to me. So when did they get back to me? July. Triple digits. Nobody's hiking but me out there. Yeah. And every other insane person who lives in Phoenix and is part lizard like me. So they're the only ones out there. I can't, and now they want me to start it up. And I'm like, bite me. You're kidding, right? It's like they don't understand the difference between my summer and Connecticut summer. And how can you be that stupid and have an Airbnb company?
It's a big
which
corporation.
is around the world. You should know what weather's like everywhere around the world. It's not that hard to figure out. You can look it up, I bet. So why they waited till midsummer in triple digits to approve me, it just pissed me off. So I am going to do that. So I'm going to do like Monday through Friday hikes out in the desert. Some of them are just going to be photo hikes where you take pictures of the beautiful flora and fauna and the thorns out in the desert. But literally, that's 4 months out of the year.
Sweet.
So, and it's not right now. I can't imagine anybody signing up to do that right now.
You gonna do any?
Honestly, I'd be afraid that they'd die out there if I took them there. So.
Yeah,
I can't even get my friends to hike with me.
Airbnb would frown upon the guests dying, I guess. Now,
Well, I'm not liable.
You signed the form, damn it.
Yeah.
How much would these hikes cost?
I was still trying to figure that out because it's a Phoenix preserve. What I wanted to do was take like $5 from every guest and donate that to the preserve to help keep it preserved.
Okay.
Because, you know, with the way things are going, this is smack dab in the middle of Phoenix. This is like prime real estate, and they're little tiny mountains. They're like I want to say 1,200 feet or something high, and they're a good climb. It's a nice climb. It's a good exercise, but they're in the middle of the city, and a lot of the people who have money would love to build on them. And 100 years ago, the women married to the founders of the city of Phoenix said, "Hey, honey, you know, we're taking the wagon out, and we're going to go to the mountain and go climb around." And so they preserved these areas because they were close to the city, and they knew that if they built on them, they'd never be able to use them. So the women behind the men who ran the city at the time got them to preserve all these mountains in the city of Phoenix. So we have several preserves that are just beautiful, and they're acres and acres, miles of property. And I want to preserve them, and I want to make sure that money gets back to the people who are making sure that happens. So I'm going to donate some of the money for my hikes. I don't know how much I'm going to charge. I'm only going to do an hour at a time. I'm not going out for long hikes.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I want to say
I think 20 bucks would be good, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to ask around and look, but I'm the only one doing it, so I couldn't tell you. Everybody else is doing these epic 3 and 4 hour hikes. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
I'm just saying, for me, for an add-on, I'd be like, I'd pay 20 bucks to go get shown around. Like you said, I mean, once you start charging 40 or 50, people are going to expect more. Okay, what else are we going to do, you know?
Well, and, you know, I'm a tough love kind of girl, so I'm going to be all like, bring your own water. If you're not wearing the right shoes, you're not coming. I can provide you with an umbrella if it's hot, but you need to make sure you have what you need. I'll carry an emergency pack just to make sure that if you get bitten by a snake, I can get you to where you need to go. I'll take care of people, but I'm not your mama. I'm not gonna babysit you. So, and I plan on, I have a cardio hike I want to do because I run up all the hills. I don't run down them, I run up them. So a cardio hike with weights will be one of my hikes. And then a nature walk to learn about the desert is another one of my hikes. And then a photo hike. And I think I'm going to do those 3, like maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Get my butt out there.
An added benefit.
And if I do them in the morning, then I can still turn my place over in the afternoon. So that should work.
Mm-hmm.
So Airbnb contacted me back and said, we need more information, because I sent them all the pictures they asked for and certain things that they were, you know, when you, the requirements to get this going. But I'm not like in a hurry because I still have triple degree weather for another 3 months.
Yeah.
And they got back to me a year late.
Now, what I automatically thought of, because, you know, like I said, I love that show Breaking Bad. If you did a Breaking Bad tour. But like you said, you don't watch the show. But if I think people would pay good money to go on this tour, to go all the spots that they saw on the show, you know?
Probably.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta watch it now.
So
See what you did.
Watch the damn series, LJ.
Thanks, Steven. Now I have one more thing to do.
I just thought of something. I have two friends of ours. Like we, you know, when you're younger, you have this group of friends, and then everybody goes their separate ways, whatever. We had this tight knit group, and we were like St. Elmo's Fire, you know. I mean, we weren't all, you know, sleeping with each other and stuff. But anyways, we. That's a long time ago. But we had these two friends, these two girls named Kira and Kinsey Fitzgerald, and they moved to Phoenix. And someone like, wow, I'm talking to a Fitzgerald in Phoenix, and I have two friends out there, Kira and Kinsey. Shout out to y'all girls, if y'all still know I'm alive.
Woo!
I'm doing
Family.
the show. Yeah. So there's another
We're all
Fitzgerald
Irish.
around. There you go.
Yep.
Irish.
Yeah.
If it's not Scottish, it's
Yep.
crap. Oh, that's Scottish. So yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's cool that you get to enjoy doing it, and it doesn't seem like it's too much of a job for you. It seems like it's a cool.
Oh, hell no. No. I bring Alexa with me. We rock some tunes while we're cleaning. I put in my ear trumpets so I can actually hear the music. 'Cause, you know, I wear hearing aids. So,
Yeah.
and then we just clean and have a good time. It's a great job.
And that is cool. And
I've got it all set up so it's easy to do. I bring my beer with me. I'm good. I have a popsicle.
hey, I mean, keeps you cool, right? From the inside out.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about Airbnb, or it's, you know, people do VRBO too, whatever. But like, it's just like there's so many different ways to do it, and like my buddy Micah, my co-host, he's kicking butt at Airbnb, making a crap ton of money, always looking for more properties, and that's one way to do it, you know, make it a business and make a lot of money off of it. Or you just like LJ, like you're doing it, you know, you're making good money on one unit, and you enjoy it, and you go in there and you decorate it like you always wanted to, and you can do the hikes and the tours and stuff that you love to do already, and you're getting paid for it, and that's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, and just take care of my home. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, LJ.
And I meet a lot of really cool people.
Another benefit. Isn't that neat?
Yeah, it's awesome. And then, so I have the teacher strike, right? So that wasn't that long ago, and I had friends that were coming down from Florida, from Flagstaff, which is 2 hours north of Phoenix, and they were protesting. I was out there protesting at the state capitol the same days. So they had nowhere to stay, and my place was empty. So I let them stay at my home for free because it was open for a couple of nights, and they were there marching. And the only way they could continue to stay was if they had a place to stay. So I gave a bunch of teachers my home, my Airbnb rental, so that they can continue to march and get better pay and get some better benefits. Because that benefits me too, and they're my friends, so that just seemed the right thing to do.
That's really great.
It's kind of cool to have that benefit, like this little place that they can go crash in.
With skulls everywhere, yeah. I dig it. I dig it. This is cool. This is like we started off with you with the crazy story, and we went to to the regular stuff a little bit, but it's like this is like a cozy conversation, and I'm glad that you reached out to me. And I'm glad I interviewed you, because it's like well, sometimes you gotta blood out of a turnip kind of thing, but we just talk about. This is like we're sitting back with a beer, just BSing. That's what it feels like.
You mean you don't have a beer over there? I do.
I didn't. No, sometimes I do, but I have my hot tea. I just finished all my hot tea, and yeah, that's see, I don't know. Sometimes I get a little tipsy, and I don't know where the interview goes, but that makes it fun too, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you listen to the Joe Rogan show?
No.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
I know who Seth Rogen is.
Okay. Well, do you know? Do you listen to podcasts a lot?
No, no.
Okay. Well, listen to ours, mine, and listen
You
to
know it.
if you look up Joe Rogan, it's the greatest podcast because he gets people on and they just talk about whatever. And you might be a famous person, but he won't even ask them nothing about their, famous life. But it's just they just BS the whole time. And sometimes he gets on a guest who partakes in the weed, and they both just sit there and you hear him go. All right, so what do you think? And it's just so they're getting baked, and they're just having the greatest
no.
conversation.
That's how I ended up with an entirely bruised left leg at the lake last weekend or 2 weekends ago. It's because my friend partakes a little too much and wasn't prepared for the storm that rolled in, and that's how the boat went all over the place. So I gotta say I'm not a fan. Like, it'll be fine. Sure, we almost capsized. Way to go. Your bloody friend probably doesn't think that. That was so cool.
That's an extreme occurrence, but two dudes sitting there just smoking. They were smoking. It was funny because they didn't say it on the show, but they're doing it. But I guess if you watch the YouTube, you'd see them do it. It's legal in Cali.
Yeah, I was telling my friend, because my birthday was right after that. I turned 55 and invited a bunch of friends out to dinner, and we were hanging out. And I said, Tony, every one of your epic travel adventures starts with, we smoked a bowl. I said, have you ever noticed that?
There's a pattern.
Yeah.
But
point it out.
But yeah, like I was saying, they just smoked out and talked they talked whatever, and they just then they got into topics about their dogs that had died, and they just started crying during their interview. Oh. It was just like, wow, this is all over the place, but this is awesome. And they kept rolling. Yeah, it's so real. No editing. That's it. This is what you get. Here's the podcast, and people love it, and I loved it, and I think that's keeping it real. This is what we're doing on this show today. That was really nice. It was a really nice change of pace.
Oh, good. Well, since I don't know what it's normally like, I got to tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's not normally like this, but I dig it. Because it goes all over the place. Sometimes we do similar interviews like this, and sometimes it's just more business and numbers and all that boring stuff. But this is me. I mean, this is my vibe, because like I said, I want to get that house going like I envision it. Getting the artsy, getting everything. Doing some cool stuff and Christmas lights on the walls. Who knows? Just doing cool things with it, and then I think I would have a lot more fun. It'd be more enjoyable because it's like like you said, I'm a little pet, little something, little doggy. I don't know. I'm just rambling here.
I think that's a great idea, and you'll never know until you try it.
Great advice. Well, thank you.
And you might find out that doesn't work. You never know. But you'll never know until you try it.
Exactly. And if we go out there to Phoenix, you're gonna take us to the best burritos place, right?
You know it. Oh man. I love good Mexican food.
Oh, they got great Mexican food out there, I hear.
There's a place down the road from my rental that is so popular that they're in the airport too.
Wow.
They are so good. They're at the airport too, and it's not your typical Mexican food. It's like deep Oaxaca way Mexico food, like not just like over the border food.
Sweet.
Or Americanized.
Tex-Mex or whatever.
Yeah. No, it's really awesome. They're very good.
I will definitely be going there when I stay at your place.
Good. Well, you just let me know when you're coming out.
Will do. And I expect a 3-hour hike in the middle of summer, by the way.
So you're looking to die. Okay.
One more question, LJ.
Yes.
Are you the lizard queen?
I am a lizard queen. I have pictures of me with lizards. The other day, this chuckwalla came running across the trail in front of me. And it's one that usually he's like sitting on rocks, like kind of like blending in, and he's off to the side, and I'll see him and I'll stop, and I call him Chuck. And we just have a little conversation. And I asked him if he's gotten any bugs today, and we just like, I'm so glad you're out here, and I'm glad you're still alive. So the other day, he ran in front of me as I was hiking down the mountain, and I almost crushed the poor little guy.
Oh.
But he's out there a lot, so I'm very in touch with my lizard self, and they apparently are recognizing it. So they come out when I hike.
That is awesome. The lizard queen,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, chuckwallas are cute. You should look up a chuckwalla. They're very cute. They get to be very big, by the way.
Chuckwalla. I will
The
look
first
that up.
one chased me away. She got pissed off because she thought I was going to go after her kids, and she came chasing after me. And she was like a foot long, so she was a big girl.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I left her alone. I said, okay, fine. I wasn't going to touch any of the kids, and I wasn't going to take any of them home. Good Lord.
Calm down, Chuck. Jeez.
But apparently my just standing there talking to him, I was a little too stranger danger for her. So.
Oh well. Everything worked out in the end.
It did. I'm still alive, and I didn't get bitten.
Well,
all good.
Thank you so much, LJ, for hopping on the show and having this cozy conversation about Airbnb and all that stuff.
And Arizona and all kinds of fun stuff.
And Arizona and meth heads. And, yeah, we went everywhere with this. And burritos.
Yeah. And now people know what to look out for.
Exactly. Meth head and burritos. That might be the title
Yeah.
of the show, actually. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to going visiting you down there. And, and having you on the show again, because you're one of the fun guests. All you guests out there that are still that were on previous, y'all are all great too, but not LJ's level. But you know, just kidding.
You're a cute guy.
Well, thanks so much, and I'll post a listing to your place because I'm sure everybody wants to know where wants to see your place, and I'm sure it's really, really awesome. And if do you want people to be able to reach out to you personally, or no?
They can just look it up.
Okay.
It's the Happy Hippie Barrio Haven.
Nice. That sounds like catchy. That's catchy. All right.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Talk again soon, Stephen.
Yeah, we will. Adios.
All right. Take care of you. Bye.
Bye. And that was LJ Fitzgerald from Phoenix, Arizona. Great show, great guest. I had a lot of fun on that one. And so, look up her listing. I'm going to put it on the show notes, and hit us up at liveletthrive@gmail.com and www.liveletthrive.com. And hit me up if you want. I'll put all my information on the show notes. Send me a text or shout and all that stuff. And thank you for listening to this episode of Live, Let, Thrive. And we'll see you next week. Later.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.